So, are you ready? Because I'm ready. Got my canvas all prepped up here, and I've already pulled a sneaky on you. I've got this thing already covered with liquid clear. And that's just to make the canvas wet and slick. A very thin coat of liquid clear. I'm not putting anything else on it yet because I'm going to let the people that wanted to paint along and kind of catch up here. So this will be a good catching up spot. But cover that canvas. And again, it doesn't matter what size you're using. I'm using a 12 by 24. Use a 10 by 20, 16 by 20, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're just kind of keeping it. We're going to stretch these lights, so most likely whatever you're using is going to be in a portrait, laid out in a portrait way. Makes sense? Let's see who else here. There's Mom, and Chip, and Christina, and Glenna Jones. Hey Glenna. How is you? Yeah, I know, Terry. Kit Kats. Kit Kats are, I don't know. They were not in my top 5 candy bars until recently. But my mother had bought some Kit Kats, and now I'm stocked up on Kit Kats for a while. So there you go, your useless information for the night. If you can find a Kit Kat. But be safe if you go out and get a Kit Kat, please. And again, we're battling a lot of people on the internet here, so make sure that if it drops out on you, I'll come back. If I freeze up, I'll reset it, and I'll be back, and we'll finish it out. This one shouldn't take us too long. This is actually a very easy painting. Not an easy painting, but it's a good painting if you've never painted or if you've not painted a lot. There's not really that much to it, and let's see what happens here. So is everybody ready to go? We got your canvases all prepped up with some liquid clear. Hopefully you've already got the black gesso on there, because if you just put that on there, let that dry first, please. That'd be a mess. Hey, Ivan. Well, you can do 2 things at once. You're better than me. Better than me. All right. And again, I'll have to move this camera around just a little bit tonight because of the length of the canvas. I'll try to get a little bit closer over here so you can see what I'm doing. You can see Petunia peeking out there behind the canvas. See. All right, so what we've got here really is phthalo green and a purple color for our sky and water and pretty much everything else. So what you need is crimson, alizarin crimson, you need some white, you need phthalo blue, phthalo green, and I've got mountain mix out because it's an easy cheater color, because Bob Ross Company puts it in a tube, so it's just easy to squirt that out. It's like a really dark color. You could use black too, so it's not as long as you got something dark. That'll make these little trees and foothills later on. Other than that, let's get cranking. So that first color, well, I tell you what we'll do first. We'll mix up our colors so that we know we've got that done. So I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to mix up a purple color. Purplish lavender color. Because there is no purple tube of paint you can buy in Bob Ross paint, so we're just going to mix it. So I'm going to grab some crimson and some blue, about equal parts, maybe a little more crimson than blue. Maybe a little more crimson than blue. And again, you can't see me mixing paint over here, but I am. You can hear it, I bet. I bet you can hear that. Hey, Tanisha and Teresa and Kim. Hey, guys. Hope everybody's okay. If you're not okay and you're here, you know, get somewhere to be okay, please. Well, if I don't have liquid clear, well, I have to use Bob Ross stuff. If you didn't have liquid clear and you had some linseed oil, some liquid, something like that would work. Okay, but I'd encourage you to get you a jug of that. A jug. They don't actually sell it in jugs, but a little. I keep mine in these little. Actually, Sherry, if you're here, this is something you gave me at the reunion. I still have 2 or 3 of these that you were getting rid of. That's what I keep my liquid clear in. But a little can of liquid clear, a little bottle of it will do you. So I'm going to make up a fairly good size little portion of that purple color. And again, it's mostly about a half-half, maybe 45-55% mix of crimson and phthalo blue, mixing them fairly well. We need a purple color. For lack of a better term. There's the Master Dana Jester here. We need to, everybody in chat encourage Dana to get on here and paint one night. I would love to watch it. But for one reason, I'd like to aggravate you, but also just watch you paint. Alright, so got my color mixed up there. Now, we'll leave that there since we got that done. And we'll start with some phthalo green. And if it was me, I would probably maybe have two brushes out. I'm going to use a 2-inch brush. And I'm going to go into phthalo green. Phthalo green. Video's going in and out. What does that mean? Can't see it. Is it pixelated? The blue I'm using is phthalo blue. Phthalo blue for tonight. Let me go see if I can fix that video for you guys. 1 second. Oh, hold on. Going for a ride. Alright. We'll try that out. My computer's over there, so it's hard to get to sometimes. We'll see if this will work. Alright. We'll leave it right there for right now, so in case I need to get up quick. You never know when you have a painting emergency, you gotta move. So I'm gonna go into some phthalo green first. By the way, you could do the whole painting with just using phthalo green. You could do the whole painting with just using phthalo blue. You could do the whole painting with just using the purple color that we mixed up. But I'm gonna get some of that phthalo green, beat that into my brush. Okay. See that there? I don't know if you guys can see that. Alright, and I'm going to figure out about midway somewhere, just start putting a little bit of this color. And this is very loose and free. Very loose, don't worry about it. Move it around. And just kind of let it. There's a lot of green towards the horizon, and then we get mostly purples up in the sky, and I actually snuck a little bit of green up here in the corner. Pretty much all I did. This is not rocket science. This one won't look like that one either. So, I have yet to be able to master the art of copying a painting. Maybe one day. Actually, I don't know if I need to. Shoot, I don't like you guys even trying to copy mine because I want yours to look better than mine. So I'm letting a little bit of this be down in the water where we'll have those foothills. So there'll be a little bit of that green right there. A little bit of that green. Okay? So really, if you can kind of watch my finger here, I got green paint through here, and it kind of comes back into the water down here. It's like I don't know what kind of shape that is. It's if you remember Ghostbusters, it kind of looks like Slimer on the canvas here, little green thing. I think that was his name. All right, so I got some green on there, and what I want to do is before I go on and put some purple on this brush, I'm going to sneak some green up here, or maybe over here, I don't know. Sneak some green up here. Boom. A little bit of green there. Alright. So I know I've got some green up there in the sky too. So now I'm just going to make sure I've got enough color on the canvas. Don't see that on my fingerprint? I'm going to test that up there. Oh yeah, we got plenty of color going on. Just make sure to get rid of those fingerprints. Okay. Now that purple color we made up. The transparent color also. If you can see where you're kind of at, and please tell me to slow down if I get going too fast. Somebody said I went too fast the other night. I'm going to fix this. I can't see your comments. No fun if I can't read who's here. Save this for my Monday report. No, this will have to go in. This will have to go in tomorrow for sure, Dana. This can't wait. We'll have to put this one in. I'll probably have to sit up all night and make a report for this one. Alright. Hey, Michelle. There you are. Hey, Mary from Lincoln, Michigan. So glad I did this at 8 p.m. Well, shoot. Actually, I'd probably, if it was up to me, guys, I'd probably paint at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And you wouldn't like that at all. There's my Aunt Judy and my buddy Judy, and Kathy. All right, and guys, you're welcome to talk to each other. You don't have to just talk to me. I allow it. It's all up to you. I'm even pulling a Bob Ross here. We got some sweet tea in a glass. He used to tell you to grab a jar of sweet tea and sit back and relax. Well, we're going to sit back and paint. Alright. So I'm going to grab some of that purple color now that we mixed up. Smack that in my brush here. You hear that? Whew. Glad on the time. If you did it in your morning, it would be my minute. If I did it in the morning, you would not want to be here, Miranda. I am like a monster in the morning. It's like waking up a troll. I'm not a morning person at all. Oh, Michelle, you have a different beverage. Well, hey, that sounds pretty good, actually. I'm gonna stick with tea for right now. And your brother Jack's watching. All right. There's Patsy. I hadn't seen you there. Glad you're here. Alright, so I got some of that purple color. Remember where we put the green? Can you guess where we're going to put the purple? Wherever we didn't put the green. Pretty good guess. I knew you guys would get it. Now the problem there is you do want to overlap. So don't worry about if you're going into your green with that. The thing you do have to make sure of is to cover up the whole canvas. But don't kill all the green. Let that green come through, especially that little spot up there is nice, and I got it in that one. Again, we're just doing, these are kind of the Northern Lights scene. We'll do them kind of in Bob style. Show you how Bob did them, or how Bram does Bob's, I guess would be the more accurate way. And then I'll just kind of take that for the sky and just kind of blend that over. Even let it blend a little bit together. Won't hurt anything. Colors like to play with each other. They get along well. I'll just test some of those areas. Make sure I got enough purple on the canvas now. See that? And it's optional, but I always wipe my fingerprints back off. I always thought I couldn't have open liquid to drink when paint. Who knew? Shoot, yeah. Just make sure if you have an open glass like this and you're using like liquid white or something, that it's not sitting somewhere that liquid white goes in here. No problem, Tanishi. You have a good night. You have a good night. Good painting the last few days too. You've been painting outside. I need to take this thing outside. We don't have anything down here yet. Let's just put purple. We've got a little bit of that green that's going to be underwater right there. Let's just smack some color on here. We'll just kind of pull it sideways like old Bob did. For some reason, and I think I figured out the reason, I've been calling Bob Bobberino the last few days. Dana might know where I've been getting that. That's what Steve calls Bob, and I don't know why I'm picking up. It's bad when you start picking up things Steve says. Not really, I'm playing. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I haven't seen, Terry, I haven't seen the Northern Lights in person. We're hoping to be able to go to Iceland next spring, I guess. And maybe hopefully get to see them up there. I haven't seen them in person either. It's kind of one of those bucket list items. And lightly, I just kind of go back over this canvas. Make sure, more than anything, just go ahead and check your canvas again maybe and make sure you've got paint everywhere. If you don't get paint up in the sky and you try to do these little Northern Light things, what happens is you just have white, and it's not very pretty on a black canvas. Beverly, it usually records and it's on here, but it'll be on here for 2 weeks, so you can always go back and watch. The problem is the last one was perfect. It went through the whole time and everybody could see the whole thing. Sometimes if it cuts out, like the internet goes down or something, it may be in like pieces, so you'd have to find both pieces or 3 pieces or 4 pieces, whatever. Alright, I'll give everybody just a second, because I know some people are painting along, so we'll sit back, relax, and wait on them to catch up. I'm not in a rush. I'm you know, this is fun. This is kind of how I paint. Just sit back, paint a little bit, look at it, sit back, eat a Kit Kat, drink a beverage, look at it, play with the dog, come back, paint more. That's kind of how I paint. Oh, 12 minutes to figure out how to leave a comment. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my, there's the little containers you gave me at the reunion. I made use of them. That's where I keep my liquid clear. After classes, I just pour everybody's in there. It's actually nasty, but it still works. So, I don't like to throw things away. I picked it up from Nick Hankins. Oh, no problem, Michelle. I enjoy it. I'm going to paint. So if you guys want to watch, you can watch. I mean, goodness. I'm sorry that, you know, you're hurting for entertainment. That you're sitting here watching me. I'm playing, by the way. I'm very sarcastic, guys. If you don't know me personally, I'm very sarcastic. So, be aware of that. All right. Do we got everybody? I think we've probably got pretty good close. And everybody's probably got their paint on there by now, I imagine. So I'm going to go to a fan brush. I'm using a number 6. You can use a number 3 if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Some kind of fan brush. I'm using a Bob Ross fan brush. Hey Steve, you made it. Good job. Awesome, glad you're here. You're a Ghirardelli mint chocolate. I like mint chocolate, Chip. Yeah. Now Ghirardelli chocolate, that's fabulous, but don't put mint in my chocolate. Come on, those two don't go together. Oh, my soy oil. Well, there you go, guys. There's a recommendation from another CRI. Sherry says she had to use soy oil because she forgot her liquid clear. Some kind of oil. Shoot, I don't know. It's something to make the canvas wet and slick on these black canvases is nice. Alright, so we got this fan brush here. Let's see what we can do with it. I've got like 3 lines here, essentially, representing the northern lights. Okay, that's so easy. I don't know if I should show you this because then nobody would really, you know, come to classes or something. But I guess I will. Oh, I'll have to show you my tricks. Tricks of the trade here. Or maybe illusions of the trade, I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to load up some white on this fan brush. I do it just a little bit differently than Bob. Bob kind of tapped his on. I do that sometimes too, but to make it a little easier on you, what I like to do is just kind of find where I want these things. I know I want one kind of coming over here in the corner and cutting through that little bit of green, so it picks up green and purple. And I just kind of drag me along, and you can kind of go up on it, and then eventually it's going to start coming back around, just like this. By the way, this painting is going to be horribly ugly until we actually mess with it a little bit. So why did you put a big streak of white on the canvas? That's just the way it works. Just the way it works. Alright. Oh, where's another one? We're going to do kind of like Bob did his. Just kind of lay it out like this. And then all of a sudden we'll let it turn in and kind of disappear at that horizon. And I'm putting more right there because those little foothills. We want a little bit of light right there. You'll see why in a second. Again, it's very technical. And maybe another one that gets close right there. And then all of a sudden it kind of comes back in about right there. Who knows? It looks really bad when you do this, by the way. Terry, I do have classes locally. Yep, in Maryville, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, all different places. Not right now. I teach at home too, but not right now. So at this step, I always kind of look at them and say, where would I want some more brightness to be? Now I kind of do what Bob did. Bob would, I believe, just kind of tap a little bit on here. Just a little bit. Don't go overboard with your white here. Do a little bit, and then we'll come back at it and look at it and see if we need to add a little bit more. So I'm going to stop on that one and show you the next step so you can kind of, you don't go hog wild here. If you can get really far here and get really sad about these if they get looking really weird. Alright, it looks really white on my camera, but there is purple and green in there. I've got a clean 2-inch brush here. Get up here and just pop these. Oh, one tip I always have, keep me a clean paper towel at the ready. Clean paper towel at the ready. Pop it, pop it, pop it, wipe, wipe, wipe. Pop a little bit, and I'm popping them straight up. They're going straight up to the ceiling here. No matter where they're at, they're going straight up. Pull straight up. Okay? And I'll wipe that off. And on that one, I'm just going to go again. I'm going to pull it. I'm going to pull it. Pull it. Pull it. Pull it. And when it starts happening, those little lights start pulling up there. Sorry for my squeaky chair there. Something like that. There's one little run of northern lights. Then got some green up there and some purple, and then back to a little bit of green down here. I don't know if you guys can see that just quite as well as I can. We do need to make those sound effects. Something. Some kind of sound effects, you know, are needed. So I may, at this point, say, okay, on this one, I would want a little bit more white in a couple areas. And you just kind of tap it. Maybe right there. Maybe right there. Who knows? Shoot. Maybe over there even. Again, wipe that off. Pop it. Pop, 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 pop. And I'm not using a ton of white, even though it may look like it. It's not a lot of white on my canvas. Okay, wipe it off. Go back through and pull straight up. Pull them straight up. So easy. And you can do, I mean, if you look at the northern lights, look at tons of pictures of them. They're a naturally occurring thing, so there's no shape that's wrong. So if you've got a big blob of color in yours, instead of these lines, guess what? That's right. There is no wrong. As long as you've got some color. Now, sometimes what's happened, a little tip. Sometimes I see in classes when we do these northern light scenes, people didn't get enough color on their canvas to start with. You can clean your brush or get a different brush and add color, like the purple color that we mixed up, or the phthalo green, and add a little bit back into that white to bring some more color out. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes I have to do that. Like I tell all my students in classes, I know all these things because I've done all these things. Okay, and there's two. We've got two done. Bob's blender. Oh, Bob. You think it is? Let's try it. Look here. Look here, Terry. I've never used it for this. Let's try it. If you've got one of these little blender brushes, you can try this out. This is a super soft. This is a great brush for doing clowns also. So I can see why this would be great to blend these. I just never ever used it. And I better not use mine too much because I think I got a little thinner in it. So we'll quit with that and I'll just use my 2-inch here. Alright, there's two of them. Guess what I'm going to do over here? I might add a little more color. I'm going to tap a little bit more on somewhere. Right there. I want this to come around a little bit more right here. And I'm putting a little bit extra down here. I'm looking at this painting over here. This is going to look odd, by the way. But when we do this, I want there to be a glow behind those little foothills. It's a very easy painting. It needs something like that. And I'm about midways, maybe a little bit, just a tad. Let's see. Yeah, I'm probably just a tad past midways with the lights. Guess what we're going to do here? Lift up, lift up, lift up, pop up. Wipe that brush off a little bit too as you're going. Come down here, grab down here, pull up. I don't know why the choo-choo sound makes sense for me. If you may get a better noise for the northern lights, let me know. I think I've read that they make noise. There's kind of a crackling in the sky or something. I may have made that up too, I don't know. It'd be bad to do that. There. There we go. There we go. We got some northern lights going on, and again, they look completely blue on my screen, and they probably do on your all screen. They're not. Got a lot of green up there, a lot of green down here. At least on my monitor that's sitting here, it looks blue to me, but it is not blue. And I'm bad to keep doing this. I'm bad to just keep pulling them, because for one reason, it's fun. And another reason is I never know when to quit. It doesn't matter if it's Northern Lights or a mountain. But I'm about ready to call it on that. Now see, what I did there is just make sure when we have these foothills that the foothills have some light behind them. I may even, watch this, just crazily tap some color back here. Just kind of swirl my brush down here at the base. Just again to make sure that I have enough color that will kind of show up. And then I can just kind of pick that up. I can blend that in if I want to. It doesn't really matter. I just want some, ghostly effects back there. Give me some color. Pick those up. Okay, so now see our foothills will have something that will make the foothills pop instead of a black canvas back there. But I still want the Northern Lights to kind of have some dark in between, because the next favorite part is the scariest part about this painting. Get rid of that. Alright, we'll stop. I'm going probably too fast for folks that are trying to paint at home, so I'm going to slow down just a second. Hey, Joe! And hi to Ruthie if she's with you. Hey, Hillary. Thanks, Jeff. This is an easy one. This is a great painting for a beginner. For one, a black canvas is an easy painting to do. You got your darks usually on here anyway, so purple. You know, you can do these just in purple and it'd be beautiful. That's why I say in any of these colors, you can just use crimson. If you just want to, if you're a crimson fan, just use crimson from the Northern Lights. Alright. So will everybody catch up? And again, just kind of some ghostly stuff down here so that we knock a little foothill right through here. We'll have it. And I think we'll probably, if everybody's got a couple of brushes, that always makes it easier on us. If not, we'll have to clean one. I've got 3, so we'll go there. But the craziest part about this, and the most scary part about this that I do, that Bob never did on his Northern Lights, is I think the sky looks flat without some stars. So all this dark right in here, and there's dark right in here, and there's dark here, there's even dark over there. It just looks dead to me. Maybe this is the dead zone or something. I think it needs stars, and I always put a few stars in here. Stars are super easy, but they're also super easy to mess up. Okay, this is liquid clear I'm using. I've got to use thinner to get the paint thin enough for me to put stars on here, which means that if you don't get the right mixture, you can have that kind of breaking, and it just looks odd. And if you get way too much, your paint will start running. So you're welcome to skip the stars. I'm going to do them, but it's going to be hard for me to show you exactly the mixture. Again, in class, I usually just let people use my brush when I mix it up. The smaller classes especially. So I'm going to grab just a touch of thinner, and when I said a touch, I'm just putting it on like this little bit of the brush. Just dipping right into the thinner bucket there. Okay? I'm having trouble twirling my brush. My hand's cramping. Is there an alternative? What do you mean by twirling your brush? You're trying to put the paint on the canvas? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about explain that a little bit better for me? Maybe we can help you out. Somebody in there can. I know there's some great painters hanging out in here. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get me a little bit of this titanium white, and I'm going to throw just a tiny bit of thinner into it. And I can't stress enough, this is a scary point of the painting. The rest of it goes pretty quick. And it's not, I don't want to say a little prayer or something. Nick Hankins always using a mixture of liquid white, liquid white, titanium white, and thinner. I usually just do the thinner because I'm a rebel. I don't know why. I'm lazy. I don't want to get liquid white out. This stuff's a mess, the jar I've got it in. So I get it kind of thin. Alright, but I want you to look. I don't have a ton of paint in the brush. I would almost encourage you to wipe the brush off and then reload it with just a little bit to start, because what can happen is all of a sudden you can have some planets up here, and those planets might look like they've blown away. Liquid white's not quite thin enough actually for stars. That's the way at least I've never been able to use liquid white for stars. Now I've used liquid white thinned down with titanium white mixed in for stars, but you gotta have enough, gotta be able to flick it off here. Alright, so take this brush, this is a knife, okay? It's been a long week. Alright, and I'm not karate chopping it. Don't Bruce Lee your knife, please. Okay? Like that. It's not trying to be violent here or anything. Just barely rake that across that knife and put a few little stars in there. See, I don't think mine's quite thin enough. I'm grabbing just a touch more thin, just a touch. Touch more thinner, reloading the brush. There we go. But no pressure on it, really. It's just light touching. Notice where I'm keeping the stars. I'm keeping them right in the dark. Now, can I control where they actually go? No. I can keep them somewhat in control. They're going to get in there, but don't purposely like put them down here. I'll just put a couple more up here, and we'll splash some on the floor. I've noticed on the floor where I paint here, and on the TV screen, there's a monitor right there. It's got liquid white all over. And if you get a bad one, you can try to take it off by just rubbing it with your finger, scrape it off with a knife, or just leave it and say it's a shooting star. Something like that. See, I've got a little big one there, but I'm not going to worry with it. I think a few little stars actually makes it look a little more natural sky. Oh, you can see them on the screen really good. Yeah, gotta be random with it. And there's a little delay here. It looks like I'm really hitting that really hard. I'm not. I mean, very loose. You can use your finger even and just flick it. I didn't want to get my finger dirty. Some people can use a toothbrush. Yeah, I think we've got enough stars. It's always easy to put way too many stars because they're fun to do. What if it smears a little bit? So like if it's running on you, or if you touch it and it smears. What I usually do in class is honestly finger paint. So like, I'll just show you. I don't know if y'all can see, there's a bigger one right there. So if I didn't like that one, I would usually just rake it off with my finger or my knife maybe. Grab a little bit on, you can use a brush, but I'm lazy. Grab a little bit on my finger and just kind of pop that in there and just kind of twirl it away. And you usually don't notice it. Usually. And then what you can also do is what I usually do for students in class is maybe try to go back over that area and just put a few more stars. And it kind of hides that. But usually, in my opinion, you're better just to leave it alone. Unless it looks really bad. Looks really bad, you know what you do? Just start over. Just scrape this off, start over. No big deal. Not taking this long to get to this point. Again, that's probably why Bob didn't do stars. He knew better. He knew better. Alright. So, before I forget, let's see where we're at now. We're going to do foothills next. Anybody got any questions or anything? I'll let everybody catch up there and I'll take a drink of my tea. Thirsty. It was warm here today. My wife spent her whole flower budget on a tree, which was kind of odd. She bought a tree instead of flowers. I don't know. But we had fun. Hey James, well thank you for watching. We're just trying to have some fun. Just painting and talking. Again, depending on where you're at, you may not be able to understand my southern accent, so just tell me to, speak up or speak more clearly. She said she was getting flowers too. That's true. But that dang Japanese maple tree went Jeep. So I think she's going to have to dig up some flowers by the roadside maybe. Hey, Rachel. How is you? Love that picture of your Goldens with your son. Kind of look like me laying out there with mine. No big spiders today, Chip. No big spiders at all. Goodness. You would have heard the yelling. You would have heard the screaming. Karen, if she was on here, she could tell you a funny story about a wasp coming at me today. It wasn't very funny to me, but it was funny to her. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Alright, so I'm going to take it. Again, I'm always usually, it's easier on you if you have a couple brushes. I know may not be able to have two brushes. You'll need to clean one more often if you don't. But I've got one that's got the dark on it. It's got the purple color on it. So I am going to take that one to start with here. I'm going to take that one, and I'm going to get me some mountain mix, and probably just a little bit of that purple color too. Just kind of mix them on the brush. I'm not worried about. You hear that beating over here? Always give that brush a little push at the end, so that paint stays on the tips there. Beat it into the paint, and then give it a little push at the end to come back up here. And we're gonna put the dark in, and then we'll highlight. This looks really drab and dull, by the way, on the screen. It's not. Turn it a little bit. I don't know if that helps or not. We'll see. Hey, David. Yeah, the videos are usually they're going to be available for 2 weeks from whenever I do them. And again, as long as this video doesn't cut out, it's going to be one video. It uploads automatically to Facebook. We've had a couple that the internet's giving us issues or something, so there may be pieces, but so far we're good tonight. This season waiting on the snakes to start. We actually found a little bitty baby snake the other day. It ran from me. I was trying to catch it because it looked like it was not a bad snake. I don't like to kill snakes. I don't like snakes. I don't like to kill them. Alright, so somewhere, without killing all this nice light, somewhere there's a couple little foothills, maybe 2 or 3 foothills that live. And all you've got to do here is do this. Kind of tap, 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 tap. And just kind of fill that in. There's one, and we'll keep messing with it. And then we got another one that kind of comes in over here, and it's a little bit higher. And it kind of cuts in front of that. Something like that. Like I said, this is not a hard painting. There's no big mountains. I don't have snow or anything to put on these mountains. These are the ones that are nice to do in a class. Nice to do, easy for people to catch on. And, you know, it's a fairly effective painting. Fill this one in over here. Maybe it comes down. I'm just tapping. Sorry, I'll pull off of that so that doesn't drive you guys crazy, because it's driving me crazy. Something like that. And eventually we'll get down here to some water that we'll put in next. Now I am, look at that. If you've got kind of a new 2-inch, but this is a newer one, it's almost the length of the brush is where the entire length of the brush is where the land stops. And again, watch this, you can come down lower if you want to. Who cares? Who cares? But look at all that nice light we've got back there. That is really nice. Really nice, really nice. Sunbeams, well, we can add it to the list of requests. This is like I feel like a radio call-in show here. I've got people want me to do birch trees, and they want me to do Jason. I don't know if Jason's here. He want me to do the Milky Way, and so we'll do some of those light ray paintings. You remember Teresa, we did light rays with Steve in that one painting in Indiana. So again, all I'm doing right now is putting in the dark. You're like, you're painting dark on a dark canvas. You got that. You got that, Skippy. You got that right. But I do like that how it kind of comes in. And you can always change it. Don't go by mine. Have one that goes straight across, or Lord, let them come down. No, don't let it come up down. Don't start at the top of the canvas, please. That wouldn't look right at all. Cherry blossom trees. Yes, I'd love to. I need to paint some. I need to do some dogwood trees is what I need to paint for us around here. That might be something we can do one day. It's hard to do all the paintings that you want to do. It just is. I find something and then I get tied up doing something else, you know. I'm just changing the angle on this a little bit. I don't like the way it looks on the screen. Right now it doesn't matter because we haven't highlighted it yet, so I can change it at any point. And we can also change it with highlights. There, I like that a little bit better. But again, I saved my nice light behind those little foothills. Alright. Moving right along here. Anybody need me to slow down if you're painting and I'm going way too fast? Yell at me. I told a couple of people just to yell at me, and I'm literally mean that. I'll stop. I don't have anything else to do tonight. I'd rather sit here and paint, especially if you guys are sending in comments so I can read these things. I like to paint, I like to share, and we'll see what we do here. Did Rachel ever show up about the painting that we gave away? Are you out there, Rachel? Faster? You want me to go faster, Heidi? I'll go real fast if you want me to. Ted Simpson joining in? Why aren't you painting, Ted? Are you painting along, or are you painting something else? You got two other canvases going at the same time? What's going on out there? I don't think I saw Mickey. Or did I see Mickey? I think Mickey's here. Sorry if I didn't. If I don't say hi to you guys, it's usually because the screen over here scrolls by too fast sometimes when everybody says something at one time. I need a mean old director lady to come in here and read these off to me. Hey, Rach. Goodness, all kinds of folks in here tonight. Well, happy Saturday. Hope y'all had fun. Hope you had good weather like we did here today. Alright, so you can see I'm going to use a dirty brush again, but it's not dirty. It's the one that I picked the Northern Lights up with. So it'll work just fine for what we're doing here. If you need to, clean yours. Be very careful about thinner and, again, the liquid clear having a reaction. I'd rather you have a dirty brush. Oh, you are here. Good. Hey, Mickey. I'd rather you have a dirtier brush and the brush be dry than to have a super clean brush and it be the tiniest bit wet with thinner. And again, I'm not going to beat my brush down here in the legs of my easel, so it's hard for me to get it exactly dry or thoroughly dry. Alright, so here we go. I used on these little foothills, I used a mixture of white and phthalo green because most of the color there at the horizon is phthalo green. And we're just going to put a little bit of a highlight on here. Hey, Justin, how are you? Good to see you. Who won the last painting? Well, Rachel, you didn't win. We'll have to do another one so we'll get back in the drawing here. Goodness, I've got it down over here. It's Rachel Blevins, I believe. I can't see my computer. And again, the way I do that, guys, is there has to be a better way. Somebody can probably tell me. I just take everybody that shares it, put your name. I type your names into a spreadsheet, and then I just pull up a random number generator and put the numbers, 1 through 70 or whatever, and whatever number comes up wins. So make it completely fair, and everybody's got the same chance. So, all right. So I've got my slightly dirty brush again. You can see it's just where I picked up the light, so it's not dirty enough to clean it. So I'm gonna grab some titanium white, and I'm gonna grab just a touch of the, just a touch, and I'll show you on my brush here since you can't see my palette. Just a touch of the phthalo green, just a touch. And we'll see if this is enough. Depends on how dark you want it. You want a little more than me? Here, Chip, this is almost like a chip, mint chocolate chip ice cream color. Alright, so just adding a little bit here, push again, just like you were doing the field. There's the kind of green I'm going to start with. That may be too bright, but heck, who cares? Doesn't matter. That way you guys can see it really easily. So we got to decide also here. I think this one on the right side lives behind this one on the left side. So don't bring your highlights all the way down here and then all the way over here. So just kind of touch, 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 touch. Put a little highlight there on top, and maybe a little bit right here. Just something like that, and leave a lot of that dark. Leave a lot of that dark. A little more green in there. Gotta touch it just again. I tell you all that, and I touch mine again. But leave that dark. You gotta have that dark in there, or it won't look right. Ghirardelli paint, yeah. We'll melt some Ghirardelli mint chocolate up here and try to paint with it. I don't know if y'all have seen that. There's somebody. Well, there's people on YouTube that do crazy stuff, but somebody was painting with cake icing or something, I believe, on there, a Bob Ross style painting, painting with icing. Craziness. Alright, so over here we're just going to touch, 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 touch. I'm going to let that one come right in front of that other one, and kind of come right down there and leave that dark in there so there's separation. Okay. Reload the brush. Get a little bit more up here. Something like that. Something like that. And again, I'm letting it all come. There's water right here somewhere, so I'm letting it all kind of flow down towards the water. Or water, as Bob might say. As much of that green as you want. Mine's kind of dark on that one. It's a little brighter here, so I'm making it so you guys can see. It looks like snow. It's not quite that bright. Just on your own screen, it probably does look that way. And just wherever, just touch. Just touch. And let it kind of go right down to the water there. It got a little darker back here, which would be natural. That's just a happy accident. I didn't do that on purpose. If I ever do anything that looks good, it's usually an accident. And there we go. We got a couple of little hills kind of coming down there. And we'll leave those be so we don't tinker with them to death. Well, thank you, Patty. Thank you, thank you. Like I said, this is kind of a fun one. Mystic, I don't know. Some of these paintings on the black canvas always look kind of mystical to me or something. You kind of escaping reality, which might be a good thing at some point, especially right now. And just painting and having fun putting color on the canvas. Doesn't have to be, again, it doesn't have to be realistic all the time. Alright, before we go any further, I'm going to take that same brush because I'm lazy and I don't like cleaning brushes. I'm going to grab you just some, actually I'd probably wipe it out on a paper towel. Probably be fine if I didn't, but if I tell you guys this and it doesn't look good, you'll be mad at me. Just wipe some of that green out. I'm not going to clean it though. Just get some of that paint out. I'm glad you can't see my trash can over here because it is full of Kit Kat wrappers. I kid you not. Well, Teresa, I'm glad you've been in the house. We're staying in too. hopefully if we stay in, we'll get rid of this old nastiness here pretty soon. And again, I got over the flu. I don't want anything else again for a while. There's Latea Bevins. I don't know who that is. That's my daughter. That's pretty sad. I'm happy she's here, but she's awful late. I don't know. You know, you got things to do, I guess. Kidding. Me too, Patty. I love these black canvases. Painting does help to pass the time away. I agree with you, Patsy. Whatever we can do. Whatever we can do to pass the time away. My daughter is actually a social worker in one of the hospitals here in the area, and her fiance is a nurse, so they're kind of on the front lines there. My daughter works in the ER as a social worker, so she's if we go see them, we stay way far away. So send good thoughts to folks working in the healthcare industry right now. It's not an easy time. They have to stay away from their families. Alright, so got my land down here to the water, but there's no water there. It's just a black void. Maybe, you know, we can leave it that way and just make up some kind of story about it, but let's put something down there. Let's put something down there. We'll grab me a little bit of the clean white. Of course, my brush is still a little dirty. If you're worried about it, get you a clean brush. And I'm going to just pop a little bit of color down here in the water. Straight across. Start picking up that purple. And what you can do, and what I usually do, is I try to look at those little lights and kind of match those up in the water. I'm not going to pull that all the way down. Pull it straight down, pull it straight down. Gotta be straight. Let's see. So if you did this, pull it that way, it looks odd. Don't do that, by the way. It's just me showing you. Because I got a little thing for a tree to sit there. I was covered up later, so right now it doesn't matter. Maybe a little bit. Go back at it if you want to. Just don't go overboard with the white. Very bright there at the edges, maybe. Coming over that foothill. Alright. Yeah. And then what you do need to do, let's see, is clean that brush off really good. Get most of that paint off there. I'm still not advise you to thinner clean it unless you really dry it. I've got another. This is my first 2-inch brush. Look how, for comparison, look how they get worn down. That's the first one I ever had. That one's 4 years old, little over 4 years old. Still holding up good though. So I'll just take the clean brush now, and I'll just kind of make sure I get that pulled down where I want it. Let it kind of mix in there a little bit. Alright, wipe that off now, just go straight across. Straight across. Straight across. 2 hairs and some air. This is that step where Bob talks about that. 2 hairs and some air. A little color in that water. You know, if you ever don't like it, just keep playing with it. Which you can see I don't. There. And also, if you've got little blender brushes also, since Terry mentioned it there, I don't think I have too much thinner in it. You could do that. That's really nice. Oh boy. Just kind of smooth that out. Leave that kind of dark. See how dark that is? Oh, I need to move the camera. Thank you. Let's move that camera down now that we're out of the sky. Maybe we can get a little closer if we want to. Hold on, you're going for a ride. See what this looks like here just in a second. Thank you, Terry, for mentioning that. Oh, and thanks, Mickey. I just hadn't seen it yet. Yeah, this is one of those longer canvases, so kind of got to move that camera down so you guys can see. Woo! And we'll just kind of tilt it until we know where we're at here. It's hard for me to get the whole canvas in the shot unless you guys don't mind a little further back. We'll play with it a minute. We're not in a hurry. Let folks catch up a little bit. I just don't want to get you like sick by moving the camera around. We'll do it a little bit at a time. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get the whole shot in there. There we go. There we go. All right, we'll leave it there. So now you can at least see the bottom of the canvas fairly well. And again, don't do that. I mean, if you did that, it won't matter. You'll put something there anyway. No big deal. No big deal. No big deal. All right. That looks odd. Just a piece of land and some white. What do we got here? We got to put a water line. And the water line I put in here, I used a little bit of titanium white and phthalo green. And it's kind of that minty color again. And get the dog hair out of my paint. There we go. And we just put a little water here, just by kind of just sawing. Just saw a little bit of a water line on this one. You can go up into that land even. Okay. I'm not going to worry about putting like dirt or anything. It's nighttime. It's already way brighter than it probably should be for a nighttime scene. So we don't need that. A little bit of water will make that look like land now. Or at least lie to me and say it does. You know, just sawing that in there. Woo! And you can get thick with this stuff, man. You can just let that, you can go crazy with it. I go too crazy sometimes. All right. So just however much you want. Again, it's not much pressure. A little trick I'll tell you is that I don't ever use liquid white. I very seldom use liquid white for a water line. I usually just use the liquid titanium white. I don't know if it's just because it's thin enough to work or what, but it seems to work a little better. And it works very well on a black canvas, because sometimes if your paint's too thin, you'll cut through and you'll start seeing the canvas again. And that doesn't look right, usually. So just wherever you might want a little water line. Maybe one right there. We got a couple of bigger ones on that one. We'll just put it on there. Kind of run them over wherever, it doesn't really matter. And if you get one you don't like, what you do, get rid of the sucker. Get rid of the sucker and put it back into the canvas. There's really not much you can't fix on one of these paintings. Sometimes you gotta fix your attitude, I guess, to fix them. I get frustrated with them myself. So sometimes just stepping away, again, painting a little slower helps me, because I can think about it and what to do next. Especially if this is just one I made up. The first one we did on here, the big long one, I didn't know where I was going with. Didn't really know where I was going exactly on the C when I did the Bob one. I had the book out, so I knew exactly where we were going. All right. Yeah, Chip, it seemed to be too thin for me to do water lines. I know Bob always used it, but it seems like it just the titanium by itself works just the best for water lines. I don't know why. But you know what? We use what works. So whatever works is what works. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and smack in some dark down here for our land. We'll smack in a little dark. I'm going to use mainly the Mountain Mix. If you got a little bit of that purple, you can use that as well. mountain mix, purple, and we've got a piece of land that kind of comes right here. We'll be able to see this really well until I cover up that white probably. This is where our little trees sit. We gotta have somewhere for our little trees to sit. I guess they're not little trees, they're kind of big. Smack it on there. Smack it on there. But you don't have to cover every square inch because this is a black canvas. Don't work yourself to death. Then we got a little piece that kind of comes over here. Something like that. Excuse me. So again, just play with it, find your angles. And know when to stop, because I don't. There, we'll call that good. You can see I'm just smacking the canvas really, and it looks like I'm really hitting it hard, but it's just a lot of paint and just hitting the canvas. Can't paint if you don't have paint. You've got to have paint on that brush to be able to paint. Sometimes we say more paint, less pressure, but right now, put a lot of paint, use some pressure on that part, for sure. Oh, whew. All right, what do we want to do next? We'll throw a little bit of a highlight on that land, and then we'll probably just re-highlight it when we put our trees on. That way you can see it. It doesn't really matter. Either way works. We did the trees and highlight around them. I forget how I did it the first time, but it really doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. So again, I'm going to use mainly titanium white. If you wanted to throw a little purple in yours, that's fine too. If you've got more purple in the sky, put more purple in your highlight down here. Just load that brush up and go at it. Touch, 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 touch. Okay? I want a little more green in mine. That one is just gets a little bit here and there. Just a little piece of land right here, just kind of running down through there. Get this guy just touching that top. Now this one actually cuts all the way through there. Doesn't have to. This is your painting. And again, we'll actually just go ahead and throw a little bit of this on here, and then we'll have to actually touch it up a little bit here at the end. We'll throw our trees in. Just something. Let it get darker and darker as you get towards the edge. It's a foothill just like that one. Just closer to us. For our trees to sit. All that is. All that is. It is only sweet tea. It's got lemon in it. Does that count for anything? Yeah. Karen can come in and test that this is just sweet tea. It's in my Springsteen on Broadway cup though. If you don't know, I love Bob, but I like Bruce Springsteen even more. So I just can't sing and play the guitar. I can paint a little bit, at least. Alright, I got a clean fan brush because I've got white on my other one. If you've only got one fan brush, clean that fan brush off and get that white out of there, please. Alright, and I don't know why I do this all the time, but I spin this fan brush. That don't need to do that, but it's clean. I'm going to load some dark paint on it. I'm just going to use a straight Mountain Mix. And again, I call Mountain Mix a cheater color because it's in a tube and I squirt it out, and I use it for mostly dark things, especially on this black canvas. You can use a filbert brush for this step too. It works well. Alright, I'm going to load a good bit of paint. You can't paint without paint. Good bit of paint. And we got a big tree that lives over here. It's the tallest one, I believe. And you just kind of get up here and, oh boy. Oh boy. There it comes. Coming all the way down, and it's going to stop somewhere right there. Go back and beef it up. Feed it some lasagna. As old Steve Ross would say. Good and dark here, maybe put a little leg there. So that's why I was saying we'll clean that up here at the end. Shoot, I think it needs more lasagna. I don't know about y'all. You want the top to be skinnier than the bottom. Make sure you do that. If not, your tree will just topple over. Just dragging that paint down. There we go. Big stick in the sky. Okay? Bravery test, yeah, well, the whole thing, anytime I paint a painting, is a bravery test. You never know how it's going to turn out. Alright, that's the big one. The tallest one over there. A little more, a little dark right there. A little foot. Yeah, give him a little foot there. We'll pull out maybe. If I don't like it, we'll cover it up. Load my brush back up. I got two of these guys over here. They're not quite as big, but they look. This guy's a little lonely. He's a little further away. They're having a party over here. There's two of them. So there's one right here. Somewhere. Where do we want this guy? Splash down there. Okay. Yep. And I keep that brush kind of kicked up towards the ceiling. I start with the top of it and just kind of pull on the paint down. I really like the filbert brush for this one. This step actually. Filbert's a really good brush for about anything. Clouds, whatever. I just never get it out and use it. Beef this one up a little bit, but he's not as big as that guy over here. Alright. And we got another one that's a little bit taller, but not as tall as that one. Actually, we'll just add a little bit of height onto this one so we know that we don't make it any taller. There we go. We're going to load my brush back up with some paint. And touch. And oh, my brush slid all over the place on that. But go back, reload, cover it back up. Just need this good and dark. Those two live right next to each other. They get along fairly well. Alright. I think that's good. There's the dark. Sherry's here, we might add some. Well, no, I'm not going to. I was going to say we could add some owls in here. I was shaping this tree a little bit differently. Okay, there. There's two of the big old trees. Now, on this one, I put a little bit of highlight on these guys, and guess what color I used? You're right, I used mainly the green. The mint green color. Mainly what I used. Alright, so most of our light seems to be right there. So the highlight on this one probably wouldn't be on this side. It's be on this side of the tree. So let's just touch a little bit. You can start wherever. Touch, touch, touch. Touch and let it run out of paint, but I'm just touching. This is the easiest way to make tree bark. I'll let that touch and I'm trying to make a little foot there. And on this one, I don't have a ton. Every now and again, if you wanted to, you could grab a little bit of purple and throw on it too. Or we can put some purple on the back side as a kind of a shadow color. I cannot see up on this one, guys, so forgive me if I'm getting outside of that tree. I can't see for the light shining on it. But it doesn't matter, we'll cover it up. And nothing we do matters. Nothing matters as long as we have fun. If you're having fun, that's all we care about. Again, I'm not fast like Bob, so don't want to copy Bob anyway. There's only one Bob Ross. A little bit there, a little bit there. There. There's one. Take over here, right there. Look at that. This is the hard thing for me because this table's sitting here, so I'll try. My hand's shaky. I might get a bigger tree by the end. See if I can do it this way. Yeah, that'll work fine. I'm sorry, I'm going to block it, but I'm just touching and letting the canvas take off what it wants. Okay, just a light touch, super light touch, super light touch. The owls are always watching, yeah. And they're never what they seem to be. Dale Cooper's in here watching somewhere with us. Where you at, Dale? There's Dale somewhere. Alright. Again, just touch, touch, touch. Just barely touch. Whew. A bit more highlight than I did on that one. Maybe I should stop it. That one looks pretty good. Just a couple over here. We'll call it done, and then we'll put our little foliage on. Fix our grass, and we'll be done. You guys can go watch. Ooh, I tell you what came back on. I don't know if anybody's an Ozark fan, but we're trying to stretch it out so we don't watch it all at once. It's a little violent. It's a little racy. You know, so it's not a kid's show. But if you need a good show to watch, Ozark is excellent. It's on Netflix. It's essentially what happened to Michael Bluth after Arrested Development, is what I call it. I keep waiting for Buster to show up. There we go. Yeah, a little bit over here. Sorry, I'm slow at this part. Give you guys time to catch up. I can't do better than the other one. Good touch, good touch. Probably more dark than me. I got a little too much white on that one. I'm gonna go back and add a little dark to it. That happens. No big deal. Do it and move on. There. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, touch a little green on here now. There we go. Hey Tammy, how are you? Things are well in your neck of the woods. I'm adding a little green back here because I got a little too white. Yeah, I like that green. Phthalo green is probably one of my favorite colors. Phthalo green and purple together. Woo, beautiful colors. Now, I'm not going to worry about a shadow on this one. If you want to, you can. You can throw a little bit of, show you what it looked like. I'd probably take some mountain mix or some black and mix it with my highlight color and dull that down quite a bit, and then just maybe just throw a little gray or something back there. But because we got so much foliage on these, we'll just not worry about it. Throw our knife down, pick up our brush that has some dark on it. Hand brush. Oh, forgot a step. Somebody needs to remind me of things. Actually, need a script liner brush next. And you don't use a ton of thinner. Since we're not going through a ton of paint, shouldn't need a ton of thinner. Go into your dark with a little bit of thinner and get it thinned down like you normally do for tree branches. Let's put a couple on here. This one's got some on it. Another little drop of a thinner. You can also try liquid clear. Some people have good luck using that to thin down for branches. I never have. Never have. And we got just some little things that live here off this guy. Y'all can even see those. That one kind of come in front of the tree there. Oh, these are nice just to kind of bring out of the tree and into the lights and just let them go wherever they're wiggling, jiggling. There. We'll put some foliage on them. Really pretty. Well, thank you, Judy. These colors go nice together, and the dark is really nice too. I like dark paintings. I think it says something about me. I don't know. But you really notice these when you get them out into the northern lights. So, and you don't want to cover them all up when we do them either. These are just some little things hanging off these guys. We'll need a few over here. Just a few. Just a few. If your hand's a little bit shaky, this is where Bob would always say it helps. And it does. Keeps you from getting like too straight a line or something. However many you think, and sometimes I just throw some extras in here. Kind of throw some stuff happening off the tree. Don't need a ton. A little bit of interest on these things help. Alright, let's see what I have enough. Glare band, we're gonna call that enough. Now I'm gonna go to the fan brush. It's got some black paints. It's just a mountain mix. Just a mountain mix. And we want some little bitty tops and things on these. And all I'm going to do is kind of go in and just kind of cover that one up if I don't like it. That's a good thing. You get one of these branches you don't like, cover the sucker up. What I don't want to do here is cover up too much of our light, so don't do the northern lights if you cover them all up. I'm just kind of there. I like that one. I like that. We'll put a little highlight on. Don't leave this guy out, even though he's over here. Let him come in front of the tree. Not gonna look right if you don't come in front of the tree sometimes. I always tell people it looks like you cross-section that tree. You're in biology class here doing some kind of, cutting up trees. Let's try that. Oh, over here, there's a little bit of one right there. It goes that way. Come down here and it goes that way. Bigger, a little bit bigger here. You can also leave the foliage off. I might leave a little bit of that trunk showing, or the limb. A little bit of that limb showing. Cut right over that tree to smash that paint in there. And I just kind of like that. Try to keep it good and dark. And really, I don't think I want to go any lower with those. I went kind of low on those. I don't think I want to on these. There's probably low enough on those. Don't notice anything about me. I say I'm not gonna do this, and then I do it. Yeah. Let's put one right there. Just something. Just something right there. Alright. Because I have 2 fan brushes. I can just use this one. Is everybody still out there in TV land? I don't see any new comments for a while. Are you so mesmerized by the painting is what I'm imagining is happening. That's kind of what I'm thinking is happening. Okay. That's what I'm going to think in my mind at least. So I'm going to use that white that's in that brush. And on this one we can mix some colors. We can use the green. And we can always go back and throw some purple in there too. Now for this, instead of thinner, what I did was, if it doesn't stick well for you, excuse me, go back to your liquid clear, just grab you a little bit of that on the corner of a brush. And that'll thin it down enough for you. Don't use thinner for that. No point. Mixing up color here. And we just need a little bit of light on the, oh actually I'm gonna put a little light on tops of the trees in there too. That's another way to do the trunks here, just kind of touch them with a fan brush. Yeah, okay, that's it. Alright. And just here and there. Here and there. There and here. Put a little bit of this green. And again, kind of letting it sit there on the tops of those little, I don't know what kind of trees these are. I'm going to get an arborist to come to class one day. Because I'd really like to know. You can throw somewhere you don't even have dark. Just a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Something like that, a little bit of green on there. I'll do the green and then I'll add a little bit of purple at the end if I want to. I may just do all green on these. You don't want to take up your whole night. And we're just kind of pushing up on that, pushing up. Just like that. There you go. I think that's enough. Right there. Again, notice that I went across the trees in these areas because that's what would happen in nature. You know, we're not trying to cut these trees off. We're not mad at our trees. I love trees. So if you're friends with me, you probably saw that post about the Japanese maple. I actually probably have, Lord, at least 12 Japanese maples that I keep in pots. I'm just trying to find a place for, or either I'm going to bonsai them, I don't know. Something. If you wanted a little bit of purple, you can do that. Just clean that brush off a little bit. Go into a little bit of purple and white. And throw a little bit on there if you want it. Maybe it's the shadow color. It's here and there. It really doesn't need it, I think. Actually, now I think I like it. Just, I mean, don't even think about where you're putting it. Just don't put it everywhere. There. Boom. Maybe a little bit right there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Remember I said we'd have to fix our tree? Let's fix that tree. Alright. We know we got that good right there, but we won't. Just kind of set our tree down in there. Like that. Paint's getting dirty on you. You can clean a brush if you need to. I'm just gonna keep going there. Whoa, that's bright. That is bright, bright, bright. Like that. Yeah. Even some dark. Make sure you leave some. I didn't leave enough dark. Alright. Anything else it needs? I don't think so. Some the signatures. What do you guys think? Where do I want to sign this thing? I'm going to use my green. Green and white. Just stay a little green and white. We'll throw a signature on here. Maybe right here. Again, my signature looks like a kindergartner. So don't get on to me too much. There. Well, there's your Northern Lights